Hi, I'm Jennifer Zook. I'm a research fellow in the laboratory of Nadine Gabb at Boston Children's Hospital. Thanks for stopping in today to learn about our work evaluating predispositions for music training from as early as infancy. The study of musical training as a framework for structural plasticity has evolved dramatically over the past decade, in which characteristic structural alterations between musicians and non-musicians have been shown, with emerging longitudinal evidence depicting training-induced white matter plasticity predominantly in the corpus callosum and arcuate fasciculus. Yet neural predispositions for training have also been proposed, in which white matter organization prior to training onset among adults has been linked with faster auditory motor learning, specifically in the bilateral corticospinal tract and right superior longitudinal fasciculus. This raises an intriguing question, then, of whether the observed training effects may in fact be influenced by variability in brain structure prior to formal training, perhaps in early childhood. Thus, the present study investigates how white matter in infancy relates to emerging music aptitude abilities prior to the onset of formal musical training. We hypothesize that putative neural predispositions for training will be evident from as early as infancy. This study draws from a prospective longitudinal investigation that employed diffusion tensor imaging, DTI, with infants utilizing a natural sleep technique. Our infants were initially recruited within the first 2 years of life and completed a neuroimaging session that acquired structural MRI as well as DTI. And we have now been longitudinally following these infants until they reach the preschool and kindergarten age and older, actually. But to date, we've had 25 children return to us for follow-up at either the preschool or kindergarten age and complete the measures of interest for the present analysis, which included the Gordon primary measures of music audiation as our music aptitude measure, which comprises of 2 conditions in which children are asked to identify whether 2 musical patterns sound the same or different. And the conditions varied either with respect to differences in tonal manipulations or pitch and rhythm. In the present study, we were especially interested in focusing in on the white matter pathways previously implicated to change as a result of musical training and those brought forth as potential neural predispositions. And while we had a particular interest in the arcuate and the superior longitudinal fasciculus, we unfortunately were only able to reliably reconstruct in 16 tracks within our infants to date. And so in that context, we did not observe any significant effects, and it has yet to be revealed whether that may be a reflection of a true null effect for these pathways or a limited scope of power within the context of the present sample. That said, we did observe some really interesting, significant effects within the corpus callosum and corticospinal tract. So turning first to the relationship between white matter in infancy and subsequent tonal music abilities, we identified that the right corticospinal tract in infancy, as indicated by fractional anisotropy, FA, is prospectively associated with subsequent tonal music aptitude abilities while accounting for age. We also found that the corpus callosum major, as indicated by FA in infancy, is prospectively associated with subsequent tonal music aptitude abilities as well. And one question we had was really to ask, are these observed effects truly reflective of a specific relationship between white matter and musicality or musical potential? Or may these effects be explained by language, given the fact that we know these pathways have been implicated to some extent to be involved in language previously as well, and strong behavioral relationships between music and language have been observed. So we built a final multiple regression model with tonal music aptitude as the outcome variable. And we found that 42% of the variance in tonal music aptitude was predicted by significant nodes identified for the right corticospinal tract and corpus callosum, infant age, and with phonological awareness in this model. And it was neat to observe that with phonological awareness as our indicator of language, the right corticospinal tract is the only predictor among these that significantly contributed to the prediction of subsequent tonal music aptitude abilities. Turning now to rhythm music aptitude abilities, we identified that the right corticospinal tract in infancy, as indicated by FA, is prospectively associated with subsequent rhythm music aptitude abilities as well. And asking the same question of might these effects be explained by language, we found that in a multiple regression model, with the outcome being rhythm music aptitude and predictors including the right corticospinal tract, infant age, and phonological awareness at follow-up, 48 of the variants in rhythm was able to be explained by these factors. Yet again, the right corticospinal tract was the only predictor to significantly contribute to that outcome. So taken together, we have identified that structural organization of the right corticospinal tract in infancy significantly contributes to the prediction of subsequent music aptitude abilities, both in tonal and rhythm, even when accounting for language, phonological awareness. We had identified that the corpus callosum major in infancy is also prospectively associated with subsequent tonal abilities, but this effect does not explain unique variance in tonal music aptitude outcomes. So taken together, this research provides some exciting and provocative developmental evidence in early childhood to support the notion that white matter organization prior to the onset of formal training may serve as a scaffold upon which ongoing experience can build. Thank you so much for joining me today and have a wonderful time at the conference.